Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for checking out another video. Today I'm going to be running down 10 of my favorite films of all time. Disclaimer, I'm not saying these are the best films ever, so I don't want anybody roasting me saying, oh, Citizen Kane and all these other classic movies that aren't going to be on here. These are just my favorites, ones that stood out to me and have stood the test of time for X amount of reasons that I'll probably talk about in this video. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, starting off at number 10, we got Whiplash by Damien Chazelle. And this is one of the only movies on this list that I don't have a copy of. So when I say that all these are my favorite movies ever, I really mean it, because I spent way too much money on Blu-rays trying to get this collection up. But yeah, Whiplash. It's a story about a jazz drummer in a jazz band, It's got Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons in it, and both of them give what I think are probably some of their best performances of their careers in this movie. The story itself was so good, and Chazelle's writing was so good that it started off as just like a 13-minute short film because no one would like finance it. And then once the short film was made, it got so much acclaim that the studio went ahead and greenlit the whole feature film. So if that tells you anything, the story is riveting and powerful, and I really think, even if you don't like jazz music, it's definitely worth the watch. All right, and number 9, we got Pearl Harbor from 2001. It's a Michael Bay film, so lots of explosions, lots of really bright colors. It's really just nice to look at. One of my favorite things in movies, and I'm sure I'll say this about everything on this list, is the colors are just spectacular. The action scenes are ridiculous. I don't know how much of it was practical, but it all looks really good. And considering it was made in 2001, that's pretty impressive. The story itself is a bit of a romance story, which is unusual for war movies, but I feel like it actually kind of plays to its strengths in this movie. Really powerful, really moving. It's one of the only movies ever, I think there's only been like 2 or 3 that have made me cry from watching it. So powerful movie. And I mean, guys, if you don't want to watch a sappy romance, it's got Kate Beckinsale in it. So what other reason do you need? Highly recommend watching this movie. Yeah. All right, counting down to number 8, we got The Grand Budapest Hotel. This is a Wes Anderson film, and this was by far one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen in my life. If you know anything about Wes Anderson, he's weird. Like, the stuff he makes is really weird, but it's just fun. The colors in this movie are super striking and bold and beautiful, as you'll see from some of these clips. It's just really a fun story. It's about a hotel, pretty much, but somehow it kept me entertained for the whole hour and a half or 2 hours, however long it is. The cast in it is just out of this world. I don't know how Wes Anderson gets all these people to continually be in his films, but expect something weird, but definitely watch it because it's 100% worth it. And I haven't met anybody that hasn't liked this movie, so definitely give it a shot. Number 7, Dunkirk by Christopher Nolan. One of the best war movies I've ever seen. And again, kind of like Pearl Harbor, it's very not your typical war movie. I don't really want to know how to explain it because I don't want to really give anything away about the whole experience if you haven't seen it yet. But colors in it, phenomenal. The whole thing was, or not the whole thing, but the vast majority of it was shot in large format IMAX. So it's incredible. Christopher Nolan, he likes doing everything practically, so there's very little CGI, and considering some of the scale of this movie, it's just really incredible. So if you want to watch this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend looking into some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and how they actually made it, because I know doing that gave me an even greater appreciation for this already fantastic movie. So that's number 7. Get to watch it if you haven't. Movie number 6. La La Land by Damien Chazelle again. Yes, it's a musical. Yes, it's amazing. Don't judge me for it. I have always had that kind of masculine notion that musicals are garbage, and for most of this case, I feel like I'm right. This is like just enough of a musical to make it fun, I guess, but it's also enough of an actual movie to make it not overwhelming. Because I don't typically enjoy full-on musicals like Les Mis or anything on Broadway. So if any of you guys out there trying to judge me for this or wouldn't want to watch it because of the fact it's a musical, scrap that idea, because it's really a fantastic movie. It's a romance movie, yes, but it's Ryan Gosling, and he's always funny. The colors, like I say, in every single movie, some of the most incredible like sunset scenes I've ever seen in a film. Yeah, it's jazz music again, but if you don't like jazz, get over it, because this movie might just help you fix that. Right, number 5, down to one hand. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. By Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie's kind of hit or miss for me. If you know anything about him, he's kind of weird too, just kind of weird techniques and ideas, but they're always kind of interesting. But this film really just blew my mind. First off, it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, even though it's not technically a comedy, I guess, but it's just so witty and like intelligent humor that it like makes me laugh out loud every time I watch it. It's a spy movie based in the Cold War. It's like a James Bond, if James Bond was funny, I guess. It's got classic 60s, 70s style. Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer are at some of their best in this movie. It's just awesome. It's one of the most fun movies I've ever seen, and if you haven't watched it yet, you need to watch it as soon as you can. All right, number 4. This is the other movie on this list that I don't have a copy yet for, and I'm really hoping to change that soon, but it's Her by Spike Jonze. This is probably the second most beautiful movie I've ever seen, and you'll find out the most beautiful movie I've ever seen in a little bit, but I could watch this movie without the sound on. Take that for what it's worth. But it also is one of the most like emotional and thought-provoking movies I've ever seen in the romance genre. It's basically about a guy who falls in love with a computer, which doesn't sound like anything too special right off the bat, and that's why I didn't watch it for years after it came out. But I really wish I would have seen it sooner, I guess. Some of the most beautiful scenes I've ever watched in a film. The cinematographer is the same one as in Dunkirk, so getting that same kind of quality and eye right there, and I can't say enough good things about this movie. You need to watch it as soon as you can. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, so I know like 90% of you watching this don't have any excuse to not watch it. All right, and now we're into the top 3. My third favorite movie of all time. It's The Dark Knight by Christopher Nolan. I've seen this movie so many times, I can almost quote the whole thing. You can ask some of my closer friends. I've literally watched this movie and quoted the whole thing. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in this movie, I will defend this to my grave as the best acting performance ever. Nothing has topped it, nothing will top it. Hands down, the best. I will fight for this forever. Just that by itself is enough to make me keep coming back to this movie, but then you add in Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan's storytelling. It's just a masterpiece of a movie, and the fact that it's Batman makes it even better. I love the MCU Marvel movies. I hate the new DC movies, just gotta throw that out there, but this trilogy, the Christopher Nolan series, tops all of the Marvel movies combined for me still. It's beautiful, it's kind of dark, and it's just a powerful story, and I just love it. I love this movie so much. So, number 3, Dark Knight. If for some reason you haven't seen this yet, I have all 3. I'll watch it with you, and you can hear me quote the entire thing and sound creepy when I imitate the Joker. All right, number 2, my second favorite movie of all time. No top 10 movie list is complete without Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. I am way too much of a Star Wars geek, honestly, for any normal human being to be. I've read too much things, I've watched too many YouTube videos, too many comic books. It's over the top for me, but I have loved it for as long as I can remember. I think Return of the Jedi was the first movie that I can actually recall seeing. My dad showed it to me when I was probably way too young. And ever since then, I've been hooked on Star Wars, and I'm not mad about it. I don't care. If that makes me a nerd or a geek, that's fine, because it's worth it. It's amazing. And this one in particular, it combines the story of Star Wars, which I've always loved, but it also is a really high quality film, technically and objectively speaking. So that's why this episode 5 in particular is on this list, even though you could throw in any of the first 6 movies. And if you ever talk to me about the new ones, I will probably fight you. So just don't get me started. All right, let's move on, because I'm going to get angry. All right, number 1, my favorite movie I've ever seen. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably see me post something about this on my story every week, and that's because it's just that good. It's French. It's a completely foreign film, so that scares off a lot of people, but throw in the subtitles, and most of you probably watch Netflix with subtitles anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. This is the most beautiful movie I've ever seen. It's based around a portrait painter back in the mid-1800s, I think. Maybe a little bit earlier. But she has to go to this secluded island estate and paint somebody. And every single scene in this movie looks like it could be a painting from that era. It's mind-blowingly aesthetic. The colors in it are perfect. And it's also the most powerful, emotional story I've ever watched. It literally left me speechless for 15-20 minutes after I watched it. I cannot say enough good things about this movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to. Please watch this movie. If you enjoy anything about movies, please watch this. And I think it's on Hulu if you don't want to spend a few bucks on Amazon to rent it. Yeah. Best movie I've ever seen. Please watch it. 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah, so that's it. All right, guys, that's it. That's my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Let me know how many of them you've seen down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I showed you something that you haven't seen yet, so you can add that to your queue. And if you watch any of the movies that I recommended, let me know what you thought about them. Let's have a little discussion down in the comments about movies. That would be amazing to me. You have no idea. That would just make my whole life. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up, please. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell and you'll get a notification whenever I make a new video every month or so that I do. So that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you for watching it if you made it this far. I'll see you next time. See you guys.